ladies, today is day 5 of our 5-day workshop. So yes, it's the final day of our workshop From Stress to Calmer. I hope you've been enjoying it. So have I been, and it's been very heartening for me to get your messages, your feedback, etc. So keep them coming even after the workshop and ask me questions in the group or over private email. So far in this challenge, we've talked about stress, what causes it, what happens in our internal environment, our brain, how we can take control of what's happening in our bodies, etc. Hi, Yafit. Hi, Tracy. Nice to have you guys. So in the last few days, we discussed some basics about our brain, how stress affects us, our internal mechanism, how we can take ownership of what happens in our life and be stress managers and not be victims of stress. Today is the final day. I want to keep it light and simple and share some stories again from my life. And today I want to talk about the methods or techniques that have helped me reduce stress over a period of time. So I would say my stress management journey, for example, started at least 5-6 years ago, and I have grown in that practice. I've added some techniques, methods, ways of living. I've deleted some. So it's been a journey, it's been a process, and I'm still learning and applying and teaching and so forth. So like I said, I want to talk about simple methods and lifestyle techniques that you can apply. But at the end of the day, these are all things you can find on Google, a simple Google search or a simple YouTube search. So that's why I want to share my story and share with you what worked for me and my clients. Going through my notes so I don't forget anything. So you could use this as your own inspiration, or add it to the kit of things that you like to add, or just play around with them. So first and foremost, what I've written here is exercise. So I try to exercise at least 3 to 4 times a week, not just for physical fitness, but also because of the chemicals that are released in the body, the happiness I feel, the sense of accomplishment that I feel at the end of, even if it's a 15-minute exercise period. So exercise is something I do every week religiously, at least 3 to 4 times. Eating well. I'm not like a health and fitness and nutrition freak, but I try to avoid oily food or something that takes away from feeling good. So over time, I've invested in learning, reading, in health coaches as well, who've taught me what really works for my body. Not that you really need a health coach at this point, but I'm saying if nutrition is an area you want to pay attention to, probably reading the right books or reaching out to the right expert might help you. Eat food that helps you reach your goals. So if it's a goal to feel lighter in your clothes or to have more nutritious food, be more conscious about your food choices, that has helped me reduce stress. When you think about just a singular topic of nutrition, you might not understand why directly it's affected to stress. But I've seen over a period of time, when I take care of my body, I am more resilient to whatever happens in the external environment. I have more energy to deal with it. So with exercise, so the mindset and the body are more stronger. For example, after an exercise, I have a sense of accomplishment, which helps me throughout the day. One of the things I touched upon is, of course, I've had coaches over the last several years, 6-7 years. I've had coaches. I've regularly invested in coaches. Now, this is not a shameless pitch that I'm making about, making you want to work with me or any other coach, but it's just that it would be a miss if I don't mention this point. So I've been a ardent personal development fan. I read like tons of books on this topic every week. What I found with coaches is that I get that personalized attention. I get that they act as catalysts in my journey, and they are experienced people who I seek out, I only work with coaches who I have resonance with. So it's been a very big help in my life, and I continue to have coaches. So that's something that has helped me in my stress management by understanding me and my personal triggers. Boundaries, as I said yesterday, is a big one for me. Be it in my personal life or in my professional life, there is a limit to which I take on, and I make sure that the work I take on is meaningful and fulfilling for me. And at home, for example, if there are friends or family, for example, who want to visit on a particular time period, which is extremely stressful for me as it is, or extremely demanding for me, I tend to say no to them. So this is how you draw boundaries. I mean, at the end, you spend quality time with your family and you work on quality projects. And that in itself is a true mark of our capability, and not the other way around, where we take up a lot and we fumble and dumble around. Decluttering is something I talked about. I am a religious declutterer. So like I said yesterday, at least once in 6 months, I declutter my wardrobe. Today morning, I decluttered my kitchen cabinet. So from decluttering the wardrobe, what that helps with is every morning, it's easier for me to have fewer clothes choices to choose from. And I know that most of them are things I like to wear and that I look good in. So from having the kitchen cabinet clean up, it's easier for me to find things and easier for me to prepare meals in a very, I keep the ingredients that are healthy and that are easy to reach. And I make sure that they're easy to reach. That's what I meant. Self-care has been very important for me. I make sure I take regular time off. So be it a vacation with my husband alone or with visiting family in India or my own alone time, I actually prioritize that over holidays. So I make sure I, have a week or two, a day or two sometimes just for myself. Sometimes it so happens that my husband is away and I just ensure that I do whatever I've been wanting to do on those days. Earlier this year in May, I took a silent retreat for 10 days. It was complete silence and I loved it. Not saying that all of you have to do this. I'm just sharing things that have worked for me. And it was the first time I'm doing it. I might do it again next year, but just telling you what I've been doing. One thing that I love doing as much as possible every day, which I don't end up doing every day actually, but as much as possible, especially on a work, like a day which is full of work, is definitely take a lunch break. And soon after the lunch break, go for a walk, especially if there is a park nearby or a water body or there is some natural environment, because it helps me shut down or shut off the noise from the day and be with myself and relax, and then come back to whatever is waiting for me with a more calmer presence, with a more, I'm more present to whatever needs my attention. Sleep is a priority, so I make sure I get at least 7 hours of sleep a night. I was struggling, and this is something that one of you had brought up. I was struggling with getting quality sleep. Like I was not able to fall asleep soon after I would hit the bed for a few weeks, a couple of months ago. I don't know whether it was related to stress, but then I implemented something that resonated with me. Somebody had suggested that switch off your phone or stop looking at your phone half an hour to 1 hour ideally before I go to bed. And that has really, really been helpful. My sleep quality has improved because it's obvious, right? The blue light apparently plays along with our hormones, which doesn't let us sleep. I don't know the name of the chemicals, I have to Google it. Then the other one, just by the logic of it, if you're looking at your phone, you have that information bombardment, and when you go to bed, your head is still buzzing from all that information. So it helps to actually switch off the half an hour, 1 hour before bed, and probably ideally do a meditation. There are enough on YouTube, and if you have trouble figuring out what it is that you will like, just drop me a message and I'm happy to help you through that. So these are all things that you can do, right? Like I said, you can also find them on Google. Now, me and the YouTube videos or Google will throw a lot of options at you. But at the end of the day, in the last 6 years or last whatever number of years, I've been really focusing on reducing stress and living a life that is more joyful and calm. There are a couple of things that really work. One, I prioritized myself. When I was running the hamster wheel, trying to please other people, trying to get to that corner office, trying to be successful with that number of amount of money in the bank, etc., I was inviting a lot of stress. So over a period of time, I think it's with age, I realized that, I'm important. I need to prioritize myself. There is this concept of the bucket, right? So when the bucket is empty, it cannot give water to any other bucket or any other cup or any other glass. It can't give any water. So water is a metaphor for love, and bucket is a metaphor for us. So when we don't have enough love for ourselves, or when we don't take care of ourselves, we have nothing to give our other people, be it in our family relationships or at work. We're not, our brains are not capable of working as fast as we want when we are completely burnt out. So it's very important for us to take care of ourselves, self-care. And when I was going through that bullying episode, which I talked about on day one, I wasn't aware that I was burning myself out or I wasn't taking care of myself. Only when I went through that really, really bad dip of ending up in the hospital, 2 surgeries back to back, ICU, and I lay there helpless, not knowing what was happening in my life, is when I started thinking, because I had time. I was in the ICU for 3, 4 days, and then afterwards in the hospital. I started reflecting, and that's when I realized, you know, something's not right. And then that process of self-discovery started, and what's not working in my life? Why am I so, this disease is exaggerated because of the stress, and why is stress happening? What am I taking on? Why am I burning myself on both ends, like, a candle burning on both ends? So it didn't happen. Those realizations did not happen immediately on that hospital bed, but over that year and the next years, and even until now, I'm peeling back the layers like an onion and getting to know myself more and see what brings me joy, what is me, what is the work that I want to do in the world. So over time, I realized that the corporate world is not for me. It is a good world to belong to if your values match. There are a lot of people who are happy in the corporate world, so I have nothing against the corporate world. But I realized that what I wanted to do was something else, and that realization came to me about a few years ago. A couple of years ago, it came across strongly. I finally accepted that realization, and in the last 2 years, only in the last, I put my notice, I put my resignation to my current employer down 2 weeks ago. So it took me 2 years. What I'm trying to say is, it took me 2 years to make that decision and finally act on it. I was building up whatever it is in the background that would give me some safety, peace of mind, etc. So, but in having made that decision 2 years ago and realizing that I am now pivoting into a direction which is more me, and which would actually fulfill me, already gave me peace of mind. So look at your life choices and see if there is a particular area of your life where you're not taking care of your self. Probably it's your health, probably it's your relationship, probably it's you yourself. Most likely it's you yourself. You're not prioritizing yourself. Ask yourself how you can give yourself more priority, more importance, more love, because only when you love yourself, only when you are a priority in your life, only when you are the most important person in your life, can you give abundant love to your children, to your husband, to your family, whoever else, or your purpose in the world, etc. Hi, okay. Yeah, so like I said, I can tell you all about deep sleep, eating well, exercising. These are all great things, but unless and until you prioritize yourself and listen to what you really want, listen to that inner voice. As women, we are highly intuitive beings. So there is a gut feeling that you get from time to time when you're making decisions, like a muscle that you develop. Listen to that more and more. There is a sense of resonance, there is a sense of coherence that you will feel when you listen to that more and more, and try to follow that voice. This is not woo-woo talk. There is something behind all this. There is an intuition, there is a sixth sense that is highly developed in females. And I think it's to our advantage that we can develop that muscle and use it more. This is what I've been doing, and this has helped me in my stress management journey. What else do I want to say? Yeah. And keep tab on your mood. If ever you feel you're too stressed, understand, like I said in day one, acknowledge that there's something going on. What's really going on? Ask yourself, and then take a step back and then respond to the situation, then blindly react to the situation. That's something I use very often in my relationship. Me and my husband are both hot-headed creatures. So luckily, sometimes I remember to be graceful in the situation, that I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, and hold my horses, and then eventually the situation comes around. Yeah, so all these realizations came over several years. Not that it happens, Rome is not built in a day, and I'm not perfect at all. I'm still learning, and as I share and I hear your stories and I work with my coach or I read a book, I am learning and learning from my experiences, listening to my inner voice. This last part that I talked about, when there is tension in the relationship, to take a step back and listen to the voice, and wanting to be gracious in that situation, graceful in that situation, has come from my inner voice, because my inner voice kept telling me, this is not you. hurling abuses at somebody or snapping back at somebody when they are in their suboptimal situation is not you. It's not you. It's not graceful. It's not you. You are capable of so much more. So I'm trying my best to listen to that voice whenever there is stress at work, at home, etc. So yes, that's all I wanted to say. I hope these 5 days were of value to you. I tried to bring together elements that I thought would be helpful. Of course, there is only so much you can cover in a 5-day workshop, especially when it's like 15 to 20 minutes daily. But I hope it gave you some things to ponder over, some reflection points, and maybe it will make a change. Maybe it will inspire you to make a change in your life. Like I said, I'm here to help you. I am a coach who helps women manage stress, deal with stress, especially working with them one-to-one. It's helpful for me to understand the nuances of your life, your personal situation. It helps me help you better. So you can reach out to me to understand my services. Of course, for being part of the challenge, I will give you a 25% discount on all my current offerings. You don't have to, you know, you can reach out to me for example, for a complimentary call. We could just talk about your situation and see how I can help you. And I'm sure even in that first complimentary call, there is no obligation. You don't have to sign up. If you find it helpful, you can ask about how I can help you. But even in that complimentary first call, I have had almost everybody get a lot of value. So if you have a personal situation that you want to share with me, use the opportunity and just send me a direct message here or over email that you want to contact me, and we'll take it forward. Yes, and lastly, I would love to do more workshops. This workshop is the second ever I've conducted in my life online, so I want to do more of it. So in the coming days, I'll share, let's say, a small feedback question in this group or over email. I haven't decided which way. So please give me your honest feedback. Give me the good stuff as well as what can be improved, because I really want to make my next workshops very, very impactful, even more impactful, and on several other topics that I usually help women with. Yes, so you'll help me decide on the topic for my next workshop that way. So that's it from me. Thank you to whoever is still watching with me. I love you guys. Thank you for being with me. And thank you for taking the effort the last 5 days to shed some light on what's stressing you. I wish you a good evening ahead, and I wish you a life that is fulfilling, calm, and joyful. We will be in touch. That's it from me for today. Bye for now.